Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We know what it takes to achieve a dream. Dedication, courage, determination, control, desire. And our goal is to channel that energy. To champion the nation's best aquatic athletes, support the teams who support them, inspire anyone and everyone to feel the benefits of a love of water, and propel each sport onwards and upwards, or even downwards, by doing it the right way, sustainably, with integrity, with purpose. Because the thrill of seeing Great Britain being great at aquatic sport is something everyone can get excited about. We are Aquatics GB.
Welcome back for the second session of the Speedo Aquatics GB Summer Championships from the Ponds Forge International Sports Centre. We've already seen some fantastic competition in the men's 1500 metres freestyle on day one, and now the session is for women's 1500 metres freestyle. As we had with the men's 1500 earlier, it's heat declared winner, so the athletes only swim their race once. There is no final, and the medals are decided based on their performances in those heats. So we will separate the performances of the individual age groups when it comes to awarding the medals. As I will never tire of saying, this is the real pinnacle for all of these swimmers this week of competition. It's the premier age group competition in this country. A real chance for people to measure themselves and how they're progressing. That's athletes, that's also coaches, team leaders, and all sorts of people, just to see how far they are going towards their long-term goals, and maybe, hopefully, setting some season's bests and some personal bests at these competitions. That would be a real achievement for anyone who manages to do that. We're getting high-quality racing experience here for all of the swimmers who've qualified. A real chance to develop, to peak at the right time in July, the real moment of truth when it comes to the season of swimming. And of course, we are celebrating everybody's contribution. The athletes, the officials, the coaches, and the families, everybody who supports the swimmers and helps them to achieve what they do in the pool. We have 9 heats of women's 1500 metres freestyle to come in this session, and I will explain the setup as we go through and help you understand who is competing for medals in the individual age groups. You will see, as we had earlier this morning, sometimes we have 2 swimmers racing side by side, pushing each other, and both winning gold medals because they are in separate age groups. And we also see things where swimmers set times for others to try to beat in later heats, and that is where medals are won and lost. At the end of the day, everybody's here trying to give their very best. Here come the swimmers then for the first heat of women's 1500 metres freestyle. And there are 2 separate age groups competing in this particular race. I will bring you up to speed on that in a moment. We're using 6 lanes in this heat. And here are the swimmers who are taking part. In lane 2 will be Emily Hall of Warrington Warriors. Lane 3, Martha Sumnall, City of Liverpool. Lane 4, Constanza Naranjo of Barnet Copthall. Maya Yuasa of City of Leeds in lane 5. Darcy Arnold of Woking in 6. And Ellie Hull of City of Birmingham in 7. So, of these 6 swimmers, 5 of them are competing in the 13 to 14 age group. And we have 1 swimmer in lane 4. That's Constance Narenko from Barnet Copthall, who is 16 years of age. So she is swimming in the 16-year competition. Out in front, right from the start here, is Emily Hall of City of Birmingham. The lane numbers read from the bottom, so it's the opposite to the graphic that we saw. Lane number 1 or lane 0 is at the bottom of your picture, and we go up to lane 9 at the top. Constanza Hall out in front. Obviously, this is how she likes to start the race, and everybody else settling into their rhythm, into the race as we get going. Give you an idea, the times that these swimmers registered to qualify for the Summer Championships this year are around 18 minutes 20 seconds, 18:20 to 18:30. So the best performances by these swimmers in the last year only range by about 10 seconds. So there's every chance that we will see swimmers swimming reasonably close together in this race. So Emily Hall out in front for Warrington Warriors, and then reading across the pool, starting at the top, Ellie Hull of City of Birmingham, Darcy Arnold of Woking, and Maya Yuasa of City of Leeds. They're going to turn in that order. And then in lane 3, next over, Martha Sumnall, City of Liverpool, in 1 minute 44.19. Similar styles of swimming for all of these swimmers. We're just getting into the race. It's a reasonably high tempo, stroke rates, and from time to time these swimmers will be digging deep, kicking hard, and trying to exploit the times when they feel at their strongest and their fittest to get through and record the best possible times they can. At the moment, all of the swimmers are swimming 50 metres in around about 35 seconds. So off to a steady and fast start, holding on to that speed with the stamina. And of course, 1,500 metres means 30 lengths of the 50-metre pool. You will see every time the swimmers turn at this end of the pool, the turn judges come forward and signal how many lengths remain. Every so often you'll see a swimmer take a glance up just to be sure they've counted correctly. And the race starts and finishes at this end of the pool. So we're coming up to the 300-metre mark now. 20% of the race has been swum. First to turn then, Ellie Hull, City of Birmingham, followed by Maya Yuasa, City of Leeds, Darcy Arnold, Woking, Emily Hall, Warrington Warriors, Constanza Naranjo, Barnet Copthall, and Martha Sumnall, City of Liverpool. As I mentioned, all of these swimmers in the 13 and 14-year-old category, with one exception, in lane 4, Constanza Naranjo. And we have swimmers in the 13 and 14 category all the way through until heat 6. So lots of swimmers still to come in that age group after this heat. Ellie Hull looking good. Breathing to her left. Kicking very efficiently. And it's Konstanze Narenko in... it's Mayuasa in second place as they come to the turn. Followed by Darcy Arnold. And the 50 metre splits at the moment, 36 to 37 seconds. All three of these leading swimmers are in that 13 to 14 age group. And Ellie Hull, who is out in front, is in the 13-year category. It's all by year of birth. There is no separate 13-year-old category. 13s and 14s swim together. And then it's individual year groups above that, 15s, 16s, 17s, and then 18s and over, the open age group. Ellie Hull with a body length and a bit of an advantage over Mayuasa. As we come up to the 500 metre mark, this is 1/3 of the race complete. 5:54.83 for Hull, 5:55.99 for Mayuasa. Darcy Arnold, 6 minutes, 0.12. So these three out in front. 18 minutes and 17 seconds is the fastest time by any of the swimmers in this heat set this year, but we do see big PBs. We see swimmers who respond to the atmosphere, who prepare really well and suddenly knock huge amounts of time off their best. And let's not forget as well all the training that is put in through the year. Sometimes the times that are set to qualify for the championships are set early in the year. They could be months old, and after a good block of training and tapering for this event, swimmers are ready to really give their best. So we do see some amazing performances. And Ellie Hull is out in front for City of Birmingham. 600 metres swum. And Hull leads by just over 2 seconds from Yuasa. And there's a further 5 seconds to Darcy Arnold. Konstanze Narenko, another 5 seconds back. Then Martha Sumnall. And Emily Hall of Warrington Warriors in 6th place at the moment. So we turn with 17 lengths of the pool left. That's what the turn judges are showing there. You'll see 17 lengths to go. And Ellie Hull is out in front and looking very good. Looking smooth and in control. Holding that lead arm out in front before starting to catch the water. All of these swimmers, very similar styles. Hull breathing to her left, not needing to worry too much about anyone else in the pool right now, but of course she needs to set as fast a time as she possibly can, because there will be more 13 and 14-year-old swimmers to come in the later heats. The winner of this heat won't win a medal necessarily. The same goes for any heats. It depends on the time you set in comparison with other swimmers in your age category. Ellie Hull into that metronomic rhythm, and that's reflected in the times. Once the swimmers get into their rhythm, very little fluctuation between their speed over any given 50 metres. It was 39.4 for that 50 metres from Hall. And Mai Yuasa swam a couple of seconds faster over the last 50. She may be closing up slightly here. Yuasa is the fastest in the pool right now, in second place. So we keep an eye on the gap between the swimmers at the turns. (10 minutes 8.7), and that's a gap of 4.4 seconds at the moment. Let's see if that is maintained. So 4.4 seconds between them at the last turn. What will be the gap at this turn? 36.9 for the 54. Hull, 36.7 for Yuasa. So the gap is closing. It's down to 4.2 seconds. It might not seem an awful lot to lose 0.2 of a second, but remember, we've still got 11 lengths to go at this turn. If you lose or gain a quarter of a second over a few 50s in a row, it really adds up. 11.22.41 for Hull there. And again, the gap closes fractionally. So Yuasa is the quickest in the pool right now. Over in third, Darcy Arnold, 11.36.31. Quite a spread opening up between the swimmers in this one, but it's very close in fourth and fifth places between Naranko and Sumnall. They're keeping each other company there in fourth and fifth. 2/3 of the race run, that's 1,000 metres. Just under 12 minutes for Hull. And she was actually a second quicker than Yuasa on that 50. So Hull maintaining her pace and Yuasa just dropping her pace ever so slightly. (18 minutes or so of swimming for these athletes, and you have to think about all of the training that goes into that, all of the work that's gone in over the year to put them in the condition to compete at this level. Swimming to such high standards. Six seconds between the first two. And at this turn, we'll have 400 metres to go, 8 more lengths of the pool. Hull turning there in 13.12.94. Is that gap over Yuasa increasing? It is. Almost half a second added to the gap. And Darcy Arnold only a fraction slower, but those fractions add up, and it's 9 seconds between second and third. Sumnall, meanwhile, further back, has moved ahead of Naranko. Almost a second and a half between those two now, and they were close together a few lengths ago. Hull is going slightly faster now into the final 30% of the race, and she's picking up the speed. Sub 37 second 50s now for Hull. Turning here then, with 300 left, 14.26. And that last 50 metres from Hull was even a little bit faster than the previous 50. So she is starting to really pick up the pace. Ellie Hull with 5 lengths of the pool to swim, turning in a comfortable first place in this heat. 13 years of age. Followed into the wall by Mayuasa. And Hull is still increasing her lead. Looking strong with 200 metres left. The gap between these two, 10 metres now. Good strong turn from Hull, almost making it to 5 metres off the wall, underwater. Yuasa doing the same. I think Yuasa coming out of that turn with a little bit of an increase in her stroke rates. So Yuasa with 200 metres left, trying to dig deep. Hull is hanging on to her rhythm, keeping her technique and her form together. She's looked good off the turns, Hull. And at the next turn, we will have the bell. So there will be 2 lengths left for Ellie Hull when she hits the wall. And the gap continues to increase between Hull and Yuasa. There's the bell. 2 lengths left, 100 metres to go. Yuasa over second in 17.02. But let's concentrate here on Ellie Hull. She's going to win Heat 1 and she's going to win it comfortably. Keeping that long stroke going. She will be feeling so tired right now. But she's keeping the technique together. And into the last 50, 17.29 at the turn. Ellie Hull's best time this year, 18.27.74. She's going to smash that. The fastest time posted by anybody this year in this heat was 18.17. So Ellie Hull will be very pleased with this performance. It's going to be just outside 18 minutes. And she comes in a time of 18.04.05. Fantastic swim for Ellie Hull. 23 seconds better than the best time she posted this year. Mayuasa in second. We didn't have her time registered there. In third place, Darcy Arnold, 18.27.02. And in third, or rather in fourth, Martha Sumnall in 18.33.99. Konstantin Narenko comes in next, 18.46.29. And we have one swimmer left. Emily Hall will be coming in lane 2. Emily had swum a time of 18.24 earlier in the season. She's going to be outside that time. This is going to be 19.18 for Emily Hall. But Great swimming from everybody there in Heat 1 of the women's 1500 metres freestyle. And remember, the age groups determine how the medals are decided. We're waiting for confirmation of Mai Yuasa's time. It looks like 18:13.97, which has appeared on the big screen here at the pool. And if that's confirmed, we'll bring it to you in a moment. And that's why we're just waiting for confirmation. And if that is the case, then that will be Mai Yuasa's fastest swim of the year as well. And that's confirmed. And you can see the ages of the swimmers there. Ellie Hull in first place, 13 years of age in 1804. Mai Yuasa, 14 years of age, 1813. And our 16-year-old in that race, Constanza Narenko, 1846. But well swum everybody in Heat 1. And here comes Heat 2 of the women's 1500 metres freestyle. So in Heat 2 then, we have all 10 lanes in use. And reading from top to bottom, Ivy Haggerty from Thanet Swim Club is in lane 9. Then it's Bo Cunningham from Corby in 8. Sophie King of Swindon Dolphin in 7. Lauren Berry of Wirral Metro in 6. Evelyn Hallisey of Newcastle Swim Team in 5. Lucy Matthews, City of Coventry in 4. Caris Mooney of City of Glasgow Swim Team in 3. Phoebe Adams of Northampton Swimming Club in 2. Summer Smith of Romford Town in 1. And Jessica Thomas of Northumberland and Durham Performance is in lane 0 at the bottom of our pictures. Out in front at the moment is Sophie King from Swindon Dolphin. And she's followed by Lucy Matthews from City of Coventry. Summer Smith, second from the top, is 13 years of age in the yellow cap from Romford Town. Then we have one 14-year-old in lane 6, that's Lauren Berry. So Berry and Smith are in the same age category, that's the 13s and 14s. And we have 4 15-year-olds swimming in this race. Reading from the bottom in lane 2, Phoebe Adams. Lane 5, Evelyn Hallisey. Lane 7, Sophie King, and lane 8, Bo Cunningham. And we also have 3 16-year-olds. Again, I'll read from the bottom. Jessica Thomas in lane 0. Lucy Matthews in 4. Ivy Haggerty at the top in lane 9. And we have one 17-year-old. That's Caris Mooney from City of Glasgow in lane 3. I will keep you up to date with all of that as we go on. Out in front at the moment then, Lucy Matthews, City of Coventry. She's in the 16-year-old category. And in third place at the moment, Sophie King. Matthews will turn first. And actually, second will be Caris Mooney, just ahead of King. We are swimming at about half a second quicker per 50 than in the previous heat, so most of these swimmers are going to swim faster than Heat 1. And Lucy Matthews is going to lead them into the 250 metre turn. Followed by Caris Mooney, then Phoebe Adams, Sophie King, Jessica Thomas, Evelyn Hallisey, Lauren Berry, Ivy Haggerty, Bo Cunningham and Summer Smith. That's the order at the 250 metre mark. And at 300 metres, things remain pretty much the same, with Matthews out in front. Interesting technique off the wall from Phoebe Adams in lane 2, hanging on to the streamline position, getting a couple of dolphin kicks in there. Over these longer races, I feel that does tend to be a sign that there's a bit more in the tank later in the race. So Phoebe Adams might be in a position to close the gap on Caris Mooney. We'll see. Matthews, Mooney, and then Adams at the turn. Sophie King as well from Swindon Dolphin, also off the wall, holding on to the turn a little bit longer, holding on to the glide phase. Matthews out in front. And if anything, the rest of the field are getting closer together. 4:36.75. The last 50 there for Lucy Matthews was 36, or rather 35.5 seconds. And she's increasing her lead, swimming faster than anyone else in the pool right now. Moving ahead of Mooney and Adams in 3 and 2. Then we've got Evelyn Hallisey in 5 and Lauren Berry in lane 6. The gap between Mooney, Adams and Hallisey in 3rd, 4th and 5th places, 1.4 seconds. Caris Mooney, of all the swimmers in there at the moment, in 2nd place, is probably showing us the longest stroke of anybody. Keeping that hand out in front and keeping her body as long as possible, for as long as possible. Still 1.4 seconds between 2nd, 3rd and 4th places. That's a steady gap between them. I think we might start to see a change in that order in 2nd, 3rd and 4th at the moment, because Phoebe Adams in lane 2 has moved on to Caris Mooney's shoulder. So those three, 3rd, 4th and 5th, all turn together. 7/100ths of a second now between them. So very close. The pack being reshuffled right now. Caris Mooney still in there, digging deep, while Lucy Matthews swims out in front. That's 600 metres with Matthews just under 7 minutes. Then it's Hallisey, Adams and Mooney. 2nd, 3rd and 4th have reversed their positions over the last 100 metres. Right now, Evelyn Hallisey in lane 5, in the black cap in 2nd place. Looks like she might be swimming the strongest of everyone in the pool. 7:35.7 at the turn for Matthews. Hallisey swam that last 50 half a second quicker than Matthews, so the gap is closing. And right now, Hallisey in 2nd is the fastest swimmer in the pool. Matthews won't be aware of that at the moment. She might notice it at the turn that the gap is closing. Another half a second is taken off the lead by Evelyn Hallisey. So the gap between them, 5 seconds. At this rate, it would take 10 lengths of the pool to close the gap. We've got 15 lengths still to come because we're coming up to the halfway point. So maybe Evelyn Hallisey is still in this race for first place. Matthews over in 8:47.3. Hallisey knocks another tenth of a second off the lead. And this is what makes 1500 metre swimming fascinating. So many different ways to swim, so many different ways for swimmers to use their energy, to spend that energy. Let's see what the gap is now. Has it closed again? It has. 6.5 tenths taken off the lead there by Hallisey. So Hallisey is certainly getting closer. Meanwhile, it's Adams in third place and Mooney in fourth. And Adams, at the bottom of your picture there, looking strong. Mooney looks like she's swimming hard as well. These four swimmers all digging deep. Just under 10 minutes of the 850 metre turn for Matthews. And again, Hallisey has knocked 0.4 of a second off the lead. Keep an eye on Hallisey in the black hat. This gap is being closed. It's difficult to know whether Matthews will be aware that her lead is being knocked down. 10:35.8. And actually, Matthews held on to her lead there and extended it by 1/10. So, the closing of the gap didn't happen in the last 50 metres. Let's see what happens here. Also keep an eye on Phoebe Adams in third place. Matthews over in 11:11. Hallisey quicker by half a second over the last 50. So the gap continues to close. And at this rate, we could be in for a close finish. Even though there's 4 seconds in it at the moment, Hallisey is the fastest swimmer in the pool at the current rates, the current speeds. Matthews turning first. That was 11:47. Hallisey second, 11:51. They're swimming almost the same pace at the moment. The gap didn't close there. I know you didn't see Matthews' time at that turn, but we did get it on our screens. Nine lengths of the pool left at this turn. Lucy Matthews over first for City of Coventry. Hallisey has knocked another half second off that lead. It's under 3 seconds now. And Hallisey will start to see Matthews' feet and thinking she can reel her in. Especially when she's swimming down to the finish end and she's breathing to her left. She'll be able to see Matthews with every breath. 400 metres left. Hallisey takes another 0.2 of a second off the lead. Adams over in third, Mooney in fourth. That could still be quite a race towards the end. We've got 7 lengths to go here, 350 metres left. The gap down to about 3 metres. And another 0.2 of a second is taken off that lead. Hallisey continues to chase Matthews down. There'll be 300 metres left at the next turn. Still time for Hallisey to really get close. (14.11.9) for Matthews, 14.13.7 for Hallisey. And that's 0.6 of a second taken off. This is going to be a close finish, unless Matthews has got something in the tank to accelerate away. Hallisey's outstretched hand in line now with Matthews' feet. Now Matthews will be aware, that's for sure, that Hallisey is getting closer with every 50 metres. 5 lengths to go. Another 0.4 of a second off the lead by Hallisey. Her outstretched hand now in line with Matthews' hips. So Hallisey getting closer and closer with every passing length, with every passing metre. But now we've only got 4 lengths to go. Another 0.3 of a second taken off the lead. It's down to just over a second. 175 metres left. The gap may well be under a second at the next turn. Evelyn Hallisey in the 15-year-old age group, Lucy Matthews in the 16-year-old age group. And is the gap under a second now? It is. 0.46 seconds. And Hallisey may well take the lead over the next 50 the way things are going. She was a long way behind at the halfway mark, but you could just see she was reeling Matthews in. We're going to be in for a sprint finish. You can't rule Lucy Matthews out yet, because both of these swimmers are going to dig very deep on the final 100. At the bell then, with 2 lengths of the pool to go. Hallisey leads for the first time in the race by 1/100th of a second. Look at that. And now she's got an arm length advantage. When they hit that final turn, they are both going to kick as hard as they can for the final 50. Matthews in the white cap for City of Coventry. Evelyn Hallisey in the black cap for Newcastle swim team. You'd have to say Hallisey's the favourite now. She didn't take the lead until the 1400 metre mark, but she's got a body length advantage now. Evelyn Hallisey, fastest time this year, 18 minutes and 12 seconds. She's going to be much faster than that. Lucy Matthews' best time, 18 minutes 10. They are both going to swim their fastest times of the season. They've both swum incredibly well. But it's going to be Evelyn Hallisey who hits the wall first. 17:43.98. Lucy Matthews second, 17:45.11. And I have to say, put that in context. Those two swimmers swam 18:10 and 18:12 as their best earlier in the season. They both knocked almost 30 seconds off of those times. Phoebe Adams, 18 minutes, 0.06. That is 13 seconds faster than she'd swum at any point in this season. Caris Mooney also faster than any point in this season, 18:06 in fourth place. Lauren Berry, 18:14. Just a shade outside her best for the season. Jessica Thomas, 18:18. Sophie King, 18:25. Summer Smith, 18:26. Ivy Haggerty coming in next for Thanet, 18:36.95. And Bo Cunningham from Corby coming in next. A fantastic swim from these swimmers. 18:52 for Bo Cunningham. Great race though in the middle two lanes. Really fantastic performances from Evelyn Hallisey and Lucy Matthews. So Evelyn Hallisey in first place in the 15-year-old category, Lucy Matthews second in the 16s, and further down in the 14s, Lauren Berry finishing fifth for Wirral Metro. On to Heat 3. And in Heat 3, reading from the top of the pool, we have Matilda Bassindale from Portsmouth North Sea. In lane 8, Vivian Wilkinson, Wirral Metro. In lane 7, Hannah Sterry from Tigers in Jersey. In lane 6, Nadia Olszewska from Barnet Copthall. In lane 5, Chloe Barnard, Basildon and Phoenix. Lane 4, Phoebe Lawton, City of Coventry. Lane 3, Cassia Martin, City of Sheffield. Lane 2, Isla Roberts, Hackney Aquatics. Lane 1, Jessica Corder, City of Salford. And at the bottom of the screen, in lane 0, Isabel Handley, City of Leeds. In this heat, we have 4 swimmers in the 13s and 14s category. And they are mostly at the far side of the pool. So in lane 4, Phoebe Lawton, returning third place there. She is in the 13s and 14s. 2 lanes above that, Nadia Olszewska is in the 13s and 14s in lane 6. And the top 2 lanes as we look, Vivian Wilkinson of Wirral Metro and Matilda Bassindale of Portsmouth North Sea. We have 5 swimmers in the 15-year-old category. And reading from the top of the screen, in lane 7, Hannah Sterry. Then in lane 5, Chloe Barnard. Lane 3, Cassia Martin. And the bottom 2 lanes as we look, Jessica Corder and Isabel Handley. They're all 15-year-olds. And we have 1 16-year-old swimmer in this race in lane 2. So 3 from the bottom of the picture, and that is Isla Roberts of Hackney Aquatics. So, as you'll see, the swimmers in this one spread across 3 separate age groups. And out in front at the 200-metre turn, in lane 5, it's Chloe Barnard. Followed into the wall by Jessica Corder, Cassia Martin and Phoebe Lawton. And this heat, as you would expect, is looking slightly quicker than the last heat. 50-metre splits, just under 36 seconds at the moment for the 8 swimmers out in front. Lawton, for instance, there swam the last 50 metres in 35.58. Phoebe Lawton, almost exactly the same speed over the last 50. So these swimmers just a little quicker than we saw in the previous heat. The gaps between the swimmers at the moment not changing very much. Everybody's settling into their rhythm, settling into their pattern, thinking about how they're feeling and how fresh they are. And occasionally you will see coaches on the side of the pool signalling to their swimmers, waving them on. You probably will see them just at the bottom of your screen. Out in front, Phoebe Lawton. in the 13 and 14 category. So she is our fastest 13-14 swimmer in this women's 1500 metres freestyle so far. Good long push off the wall and holding that streamline position from Lawton, turning in 4:02.64. Very little to choose between second and eighth place right now. Into the turn then. Barnard over first, then Lawton, then Sterry, then Martin, then Korda, Wilkinson, Olszewska. And when we get to this turn, we will have swum 450 metres. We're getting close to swimming a third of the race so far. Barnard's swimming 50 in just over 36 seconds now. Fastest over the previous 50 there was Hannah Sterry in lane 7 in the yellow cap, 3 from the top. And if anything, Sterry at the moment is the swimmer who is picking up the pace. Barnard turning first for Basildon and Phoenix. Second, Hannah Sterry. And Sterry closes the gap to 1.1 seconds between first and second places. So our two leaders, Barnard and Sterry, they're both in the 15-year-old category. The gap was 1.1 and now it's just over half a second. So it wouldn't be at all surprising now if Sterry were to take the lead in the next 100 metres. The gap was half a second at the last turn. Sterry might just turn first here. It's going to be very close. It's certainly less than half a second between them now. 4/100ths of a second apart. So it's Barnard and Sterry out in front. Then Wilkinson in lane 8, Korda in lane 1, Martin in 3 and Lawton in 4. And only 3.5 seconds separates our first 6 swimmers here. So nobody's out of contention at this stage. We're still in the first half of the race. Sterry will turn first now for the first time. Barnard has really got a long push off the wall. And I always think that's a sign that there's more to come later. Just watch Barnard's turns. Sterry will come into the wall first. Then Barnard. And Wilkinson will turn in third place. It's Barnard who's swimming the quickest at the moment. So with Sterry pushing her along, Barnard in the orange cap in the middle of the pool has responded, but you can see how hard Sterry is working with the feet. She is kicking hard at the moment, harder than anyone in the pool. So Sterry over first, then Barnard, then Wilkinson. Corder in 4th place. Martin and Lawton 5th and 6th. Then Isla Roberts in 7th. Nadia Olszewska in 8th place at the moment, followed by Isabel Hanley and Matilda Bassindale. So we've just passed the halfway point in the race. Sterry is going to turn first here, ahead of Barnard, and then Wilkinson. Now is Wilkinson closing the gap between herself and Barnard? I think she knocked about a quarter of a second off the gap between 2nd and 3rd over that last 50. The gap at the moment just under 2 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that, because Wilkinson might be coming into contention now in the black cap at the top of the screen. There is still an awful long way to go, and plenty of time for any one of these 6 swimmers to suddenly accelerate. The gap between Barnard and Wilkinson is now just under 2 seconds. So we're looking here at those 3 swimmers out in front. And at the bottom of the screen there as well, Phoebe Lawton, City of Coventry, looking strong right now. Sterry, Barnard, Wilkinson, then Lawton, Corder, Martin. Sterry's got more than a body length advantage now. There will be 11 lengths to swim at this turn. Almost 2/3 distance. Sterry out in front in 11:19. But right now, Vivian Wilkinson in 3rd place looks to be the fastest swimmer in the pool. She's in the black cap at the top of the screens. There's less of a gap now between 2nd and 3rd than there is between 1st and 2nd. Sterry leading then by 2.7 seconds, and it's 1.2 between Barnard and Wilkinson. Wilkinson is still swimming quicker than anyone. She's closing the gap on Barnard. She's also closing the gap on Sterry right now. .450 metres to go. And remain in that same order. Sterry, Barnard and Wilkinson. Sterry really upped the pace in that last 50. Sterry once again is opening the gap. And she's holding off Barnard and Wilkinson right now. We have 400 metres left. And the gap between Barnard and Wilkinson is down to 0.3 of a second. Wilkinson is 13 years of age, or in the 13-year category, so that's the 13-14 years competition. Sterry out in front is in the 15-year-old competition, as is Chloe Barnard. So Wilkinson is moving into 2nd place now, and she is going to be the fastest 13-14-year-old that we've seen up to this point. At the next turn, there will be 300 metres left to swim. Sterry, Wilkinson, Barnard. That's the order as they come into the 1200 metre turn. (14:22.6) for Sterry, 14:25.9 for Wilkinson. Wilkinson still feels like the fastest swimmer in the pool at the moment, but I'm not sure there's enough of the race left for Wilkinson to actually catch Sterry. Wilkinson's kicking hard now. Nobody's kicking harder than Sterry though at the moment. 5 lengths left. 14:58.8 for Sterry, 15:03.2 for Wilkinson. And that was a good last 50 from Sterry. She's opened that lead up again with that last 50. And you have to say, Sterry looks really good now. Working so hard with that leg kick. 200 metres left. And the gap is 4.5 seconds. Wilkinson, though, in the 13-14 category, is really swimming well, really swimming hard here. Three lengths to go. Sterry gets a good turn. Wilkinson maybe not quite as strong off the wall. Barnard now has got a problem because Lawton's closed the gap. And Lawton right now is the fastest swimmer in the pool by some distance. And the way Lawton's going at the moment in lane 4 in the white cap, she could even get into second place. She's fighting for third at the moment, but she is significantly quicker than Barnard and Wilkinson over the last 100. There's 50 metres to go. 100 metres to go, rather. Barnard still just holding off Lawton in third place. It's Sterry who's going to win the heat, there's no doubt about that. In the 15-year category. Swimming very strongly. From about the 400 metre mark onwards, she really looked good. She worked her way into the leads. Left everyone else behind. Wilkinson in second place has really found some strength at the end, some energy. There was a period when I thought Lawton might even fight for second place. That's looking difficult now. Wilkinson has got some momentum. Sterry's best time this year, 18:08. She will beat that by a handful of seconds. Hannah Sterry then for Tigers in Jersey comes home in first place. Does she break 18 minutes? She does, 17:59.66. Vivian Wilkinson 18:03.49. Phoebe Lawton 18:06. Chloe Barnard 18:08. Cassia Martin 18:11. Isabel Hanley 18:13. Jessica Corder 18:16. Isla Roberts with 18:23. Martina Bassendale 18:27 and Nadia Olszewska 18:28. Some PBs in there and great swimming at the head of the race from Hannah Sterry and from Vivian Wilkinson and Phoebe Lawton. You see the ages on the right there. Remember the 13 and 14 swim in one single category. On we go to Heat 4, women's 1500 metres freestyle. And the swimmers in Heat 4, from the top of your screen, Alicia Bethel, Wickham District, Isla Ince, Guildford City, Clara Guinness, Tigers, New Jersey, Jessica Cater, Nova Centurion. In lane 5, Sky Austin Burrows. In lane 4, Molly Norton, City of Leeds. Sky Austin Burrows, I should say, for Rushmore Royals. Down to lane 3, Gemma Saul of Portsmouth North Sea. Lane 2, Ella Smith, Northumberland and Durham Performance. Lane 1, Sophie Dowding, Team Ipswich. And in lane 0, Mia Hawkins, City of Coventry. We have a 13-year-old swimmer in lane 0, Mia Hawkins. A 14-year-old in lane 4, Molly Norton. So those two in the same category. We have two 15-year-olds, that's lanes 2 and 8. In lane 2, Ella Smith, lane 8, Isla Ince. Two 16-year-olds, in lane 9, Alicia Bethel, and in lane 3, Jemima Saul. And we also have four 17-year-old swimmers from the bottom of the pool. Lane 1, Sophie Dowding, and then in the middle, in one of the yellow lanes, the higher of the two yellow lanes, Sky Austin Burrows. Lane 6, Jessica Cater, and lane 7, Clara Guinness. So spread across 4 different age groups in this particular race. But of course the advantage of everybody swimming together is that everyone gets to compete against swimmers of a similar pace. So once you're in the pool, it doesn't really matter. You're trying to beat everybody, of course you are, but on the result sheets they will be separated. So lanes 2 and 3 out in front. First over in 3, Jemima Saul, and in 2, Ella Smith, followed in there by Sophie Dowding and Clara Guinness in lane 7. Coming up to the 250 metre turn. First over from Portsmouth North Sea, Jemima Saul, followed by Ella Smith, and the gap between them 9/10 of a second. And the way this race is settling down, those two are going to make their early headway. The swimmers in the yellow lanes in the middle of the pool, they've got the fastest times posted this year. And at the moment, unusually, they are in 9th and 10th places. But they may well come through later on in the race. So these swimmers at the moment, they are swimming 35 to 36 seconds per 50. A similar pace to the one we saw in the last heat. Saul looking comfortable with a body length advantage. Reading on the last pool there, but also checking, no doubt, how many lengths of the pool are left. It'll be a bit demoralising to hit the wall and think there's 23 left. But sometimes you do lose count, sometimes you do need the reminder. It's nice to know that you've counted correctly. The mind does play tricks in the middle of the race, and suddenly you lose 2 lengths or you start to doubt yourself. So knowing that every 50 metres you can check how many lengths are left to swim does help. an enormous amount. Saul from Smith, from Guinness, then Cater, Dowding, Hawkins, Ince, Bethel, Norton, and then Austin Burrows. So in the last heats, we had a winning swim of just under 18 minutes. Two of these swimmers, Molly Norton and Sky Austin Burrows, are both from under 18 minutes this year. They're the two swimmers in the middle of the pool in the yellow lanes. But judging by this performance so far, we could get sub 18-minute swims from 3 or 4 swimmers here. We shall see how things pan out. Jemima Saul looking strong in first place right now. Coming into the turn at 500 metres, 1/3 of the race complete, with a lead of 3 seconds over Ella Smith. It's Jemima Saul in front and Emma Smith in second. There's a close fight for third at the moment. That's between Clara Guinness in the yellow cap for Tigers of Jersey and Jessica Cater of Nova Centurion. Cater looks like she's just in third place right now. Saul over first at 550 metres. Then Smith, then Cater and Guinness. Less than 1/10 of a second between third and fourth places right now. Feels like Guinness and Cater, by competing with one another, are actually getting closer to second place. We'll keep an eye on that. Saul at 600 in 6:57. Then Smith in 7:01. Guinness and Cater. And the fastest swimmer in the pool at the moment is Clara Guinness from Tigers in the yellow cap, currently in third place. So those two in third and fourth, Guinness and Cater, they are really still in contention. We're still in the first half of the race. 7:33 for Saul. Ella Smith 7:37. Saul over that last 50 increased her lead. Isla Ince has picked up the pace in lane 8 as well. So she's the second lane from the top of your picture. Isla Ince is swimming just as fast as the leader at the moment. She may be away behind, but she has definitely increased her rate. Saul over in third in 8:09. That was 36 seconds for the last 50. Guinness is closing that gap. Guinness in the yellow cap in third place. Is swimming quicker than anybody else right now. But Cater, I think, has actually pulled in front into third. I'm not sure those two are really thinking about first and second at the moment. They are just battling with each other. Look how close they are at that turn. Just 2/100ths of a second apart. I think Ella Smith in second place has also picked up the pace. She might have spotted Guinness and Cater getting closer, so she has picked up the speeds. And in fifth place, just coming into your shot at the bottom of the screen there, in lane 0, Mia Hawkins, excuse me. A 13-year-old turning in fifth. Clara Guinness in the yellow cap swam that last 50 faster than anyone else. And again, Cater is going to overtake Guinness and swim into the turn just ahead. So third and fourth place keeps changing hands at the moment. 2/100ths of a second between them once more. That's third and fourth. 10:04.95, 10:04.97. Saul, the only one under 10 minutes at the 850 mark. Saul looking good. Saul turning first, breathing on that final arm pull. Smith. And look at this, Hawkins in lane 0 has moved up. She's only a shade behind Guinness and Cater now. So Guinness 10:41.06, Cater 10:41.47 at the last turn, Hawkins 10:41.92. So Hawkins is right back in this race. .11 lengths to go. Saul out in front. Smith actually closing the gap over the last 50. It's Ella Smith in second place right now, who is swimming faster than anyone else and closing the gap. This will be 2/3 of the race complete. Jemima Saul turning in first place. And Smith's closed the gap again. And Clara Guinness is swimming well again. I'm getting the feeling that Clara Guinness in lane 7 swims quicker from the 50-metre start into the right to the finish end than she does in the opposite direction. It seems to be that she's the fastest in the pool, swimming right to left. Saul, 12:21.46, leading now by 3.5 seconds. And that gap closes by another 0.2 there. So Smith is getting closer to Saul right now. And there will be 400 metres still left to swim at the next turn. Smith will be thinking that is enough time to close this gap. We're keeping an eye also on Mia Hawkins right at the bottom of the screen, because she was several metres away from third and fourth, 5 or 6 lengths ago, and now she is comfortably in third place. Hawkins not quite as fast as Ella Smith over the last 50, but not a long way behind. Smith is the fastest in the pool at the moment. She's in second place, and that gap between second and first is closing. Saul leading by just under 3 seconds. And right now Smith will be thinking she can get on the feet of Saul. Hawkins looks like she is getting into a comfortable third place. Guinness in the yellow cap at the top of the picture is fighting hard to stay with her. Smith closes the gap on first again. And that's where the real race is at the moment. Can Smith catch Saul? The gap at the last turn, 1.8 seconds. What will the difference be as we turn here with 5 lengths to go? Less than 2 metres between them. 1.35 seconds separates the two of them, and Smith has closed the gap again. She took half a second off over the last 50. Ella Smith has timed this so well. It's Ella Smith in the black cap for Northumberland and Durham Performance, and she's overhauling Jemima Saul from Portsmouth North Sea at the moment. Can Saul respond, having led for so long? For the first time in the race, it's Smith who leads. Hawkins goes over in third. 200 metres left. And look at Saul, she's responded to the challenge and gone to her feet. It's Saul who's kicking hard at the moment. Smith holding on to that streamlined position. And I think Saul used her legs for the first half of that 50 and then decided to save it for a bit later on in the race. Smith then with just under half a second advantage. Hawkins, by the way, looks comfortable in third place right now. Almost, well, just over 3 seconds ahead of Guinness and Cater, who at one point looked like they might come through to challenge. But it's Ella Smith who has outperformed everybody in this heat. The 15-year-olds from Northumberland and Durham Performance, turning first with 100 metres to go. Then it's Jemima Saul, followed by Mia Hawkins. Clara Guinness in fourth, Jessica Cater in sixth. There'll be no catching Ella Smith now. She's got the momentum. She's got the belief. She'll be feeling so good right now, looking over her shoulder, having been behind for so long. But she reeled Saul in. She's going to finish so strongly here into the final turn. 17:10.88. Saul just over 2 seconds behind. Smith's going to come through in first place. Smith's best time this year, 18:03.61. She'll beat that, no problem. Saul's best time, 18 minutes. She's going to beat that as well. Saul has run very well too. She might feel disappointed to have been caught, but it's going to be a really good time for both of these swimmers. And in fact, Saul's actually coming back very strongly in the last 15. Smith first, 17:44.71, followed by Saul, 17:46. Great swims from both. Mia Hawkins, great swim there as well, 17:54.3. Clara Guinness, she looked strong in the middle of the race, 17:57. Jessica Cater, 17:58. Sophie Dowding, just outside the 18-minute mark. Isla Ince, who surged through in the middle of the race at 1:18.09. Alicia Bethel, 18:13 in 8th place. Molly Norton in 18:20. And Sky Austin Burrows will come in 18:30 something. 18:32. I think we didn't register the time, so we'll just wait for confirmation of that time. But Ella Smith, yes, performance of the heat, fantastic swim, 17:44.7 to win that race. Jemima Saul might feel disappointed to have been overhauled the way she was, but 17:46, that's a good time for her. We've just had confirmation of Sky Austin Burrows' time, and it was 18:31.99. So here is confirmation of those times. Ella Smith in the 15-year-old age group, first in the heat. Jemima Saul in the 16 age group, second. And in the 13-14 age group, Mia Hawkins in third place. Clara Guinness in the 17 age group in fourth place. On we go to heat 5 of the women's 1500 metres freestyle. So heat 5 underway. And reading from the top of your screen, Isabel Hall, City of Leeds, in the 13-14 category. Amber Hinton from Dumfries, also in the 13-14 category. In lane 7, Esme Slynn from Leicester Sharks in the 15 category. Then it's Catherine Noble in lane 6, Newcastle Swim Team in the 16-year-old category. Into the yellow lanes then, Jasmine Hall, who turned there in second place, from Basildon and Phoenix in the orange cap. She's in the 14-year-old category. In lane 4, and first to turn there, Peyton Chester, City of Liverpool. She's in the 16 years category. Then we have two 17-year-olds in lanes 3 and 2. In lane 3, that's Madison Emmons from Repton Swimming, and Charlotte Surrell from City of Birmingham in lane 2. In lane 1, as we come into the turn, Katie One from Camden Swiss Cottage. She's in the 15-year-old category. And in lane 0, Tegan Black from East Lothian in the 17-year-old category. Peyton Chester's in the red cap for City of Liverpool, out in front after 100 metres. And followed there by Madison Emmons of Repton Swimming. And then between third and fourth, Peyton Chester's. And at the bottom of the screen, Tegan Black. It will be Black who turns in third place, just ahead of Hall. So a gap emerging in the first 200 metres between our first 6 swimmers and the remaining 4. And we shall see how things settle down. Right now, Chester's in 4, looks very strong and smooth. I'd say the same as well, actually, in lane 0 for Tegan Black. Chester's with a slight advantage over Emmons. And then it's Hall, Surrell, Black, Slynn, One, Hinton, Noble and Hall. That's how they turned at the 200 metre mark in that order. And we are settling down into 34-second 50s. So these are the fastest swimmers we've seen so far in this women's 1500 metres freestyle. And I mention that because it's good to be reminded that probably all of our first 6 swimmers in this heat are swimming as fast, if not quicker, than our fastest swimmers in the previous heat. So with every passing heat, the standard is raised. Chester's over first, Emmons in second. Then it's Hall. There are 2 swimmers with the surname Hall in this race. You'll see that the name Hall appears twice. I'll remind you, in lane 5, that's Jasmine Hall for Basildon and Phoenix. And in lane 9, it's Isabel Hall, City of Leeds. We're looking there at the swimmers racing in 3rd, 4th and 5th places. Out in front, Chester's and then Emmons. And then nothing to choose between Jasmine Hall, Slynn and Surrell. Chester's kicking hard, certainly harder than Emmons at this stage of the race. It's just a 2-beat kick in lane 3, as we like to say, that steadier kick for Madison Emmons. But that's one of the tactics that changes as the race goes on. Kick harder for a while and increase speed. And right now, Chester's is keeping that effort up with her legs all the way through. This will be 450 metres swum at the turn. Chester's 5:09.06, and she opened up a gap on everybody over that last 50. Chester's is the fastest in the pool right now. The question at the moment is whether Madison Emmett can keep up. And Charlotte Surrell looks like she's moving into a comfortable third place, ahead of Jasmine Hall and then Esme Slynn. Emmett did close the gap slightly there on Chester's over the last 50, and you can see Emmett actually surging through at the moment. I think Emmett will probably turn first at the next turn, and you can see now Emmett is certainly kicking harder, so it must have been part of her game plan to get to 500 and go to her feet. And looking at Chester's, actually she's turned those afterburners off at the moment, not kicking quite as hard as before, so that's quite possibly an indication of the different tactics being used. No, Chester's has gone back to her feet now, but definitely a change from Emmett. She's using those feet to accelerate, and she's not just accelerating, she is powering away at the moment. The gap at that turn, 1.8 seconds. They were neck and neck 100 metres ago. So that's a real indication of Madison Emmett's acceleration. And it looks like she's absolutely intent on maintaining this pace as well. So Madison Emmett will turn first. She's in the 17-year category. Peyton Chester's in second place. He's in the 16 years category. Charlotte Surrell in third place. She's also in the 17 years category, like Emmett. And in fourth place, Jasmine Hall is in the 13-14 category. So Jasmine Hall in lane 5 in the orange cap, in fourth place at the moment. More than likely she is the fastest swimmer we've seen so far in the 13-14 category. And it's worth remembering for Jasmine Hall, as she turns now in fourth place, there are only 2 more swimmers to compete in the 13-14 age group. So if Jasmine Hall can post the fastest time so far in that category, she'll be guaranteed a medal. So Jasmine Hall in the orange cap, swimming in lane 5. Not in our picture at the moment. Here she comes now. She's in fourth place in this race, but she is probably the first medalist that we are going to see swimming in this women's 1500 metres freestyle. If she can swim faster than Mia Hawkins in the previous heats, then she will be guaranteeing herself a medal, with 2 14-year-olds to come in the following heat. So we're keeping an eye on Jasmine Hall's performance, even though she's in fourth place right now. Turning then at 800 metres, just over half of the race complete. Emmett out in front, almost 7 seconds ahead of Chester's, then Surrell and Jasmine Hall. Esme Slynn turning in 5th place, Amber Hinton 6th, then we have Isabel Hall 7th, Katie 1 8th, Tegan Black 9th, and Catherine Noble was 10th at that turn at 800 metres. Emmett 9:51.1, ahead of Chester's 9:58.7. Charlotte Surrell at the moment in third place is swimming quicker than Peyton Chesters, so keep an eye on lane 2. That's 3 lanes from the bottom of our picture. Charlotte Surrell might be moving up to challenge Peyton Chesters. There we go, Surrell just coming into your picture now in the white cap. So it's Emmett turning first, then Chesters, but look at the gap between Chesters now and Surrell. And that gap, 1.5 seconds, well, 1.46. And Surrell knocked that down from a 2-second gap at the previous turn. So at the current speeds, Surrell could be moving into second place in the next 100 metres. Emmett over first in 11.04. Then it's Chesters. What's the gap between second and third? Well, very little. Very little. 0.58 between them now. I wouldn't be surprised if Surrell turns in second place. It certainly looks like she's surging into second place now. And Jasmine Hall in that 4th place. Remember, she's battling for a medal in the 13-14 age group. Two-thirds of the race complete. Emmett, and remember how she kicked on at the 500 metre mark. What's she going to do now we get to 1,000 metres? She's kicking hard again. Surrell's in second place for the first time in this race. Emmett kicking hard for the first 25, certainly there of this 50. And kicking hard again now. Looking really good as we come into the turn. 9 lengths to go. 12.15.8. Surrell looking strong now in second. Then it's Chesters. And we're looking now at the gap between Hall and Chesters, so between third and fourth. 2.38 seconds between those two. We'll measure that distance again at the next turn, see if Jasmine Hall is getting closer to Chesters. Emmett into the turn at 1100 metres. 12.51.89. Then it's Surrell, followed by Chesters. And Hall has closed that gap. That gap is closing between third and fourth. It looks a large distance at the moment, but there is time for Jasmine Hall to chase Chesters. I don't think there's any doubt that Madison Emmons in the 17-year-old category is going to win this heat. She is looking very strong. Charlotte Surrell in second is also in that 17-year category. And the gap between Hall and Chesters has closed again. 0.3 of a second knocked off over that last 50. .300 metres to go at this turn. Madison Emmons from Repton Swimming. Good strong push off that turn. Get an indication of how strong everyone's feeling at those turns, and also how strongly everyone's kicking. Look at this Madison Emmett kicking hard. Flutter kick, we weren't seeing that in the first 500 metres. She's turned those afterburners on. Since the 500 metre turner, she's kept it going. Keeps it going for 750 now as we reach the 1250 mark. In 14.40.3 for Emmett. Surrell, 14.47.7. 14.50.2 for Chesters, and for Jasmine Hall 14.52.7. Chesters has actually picked up the pace now. I think she might hold off Jasmine Hall. But Jasmine Hall, remember, is fighting for a possible medal in the 13-14 category. And she is currently in 4th place in this race. 200 metres to go. Emmett, followed by Surrell, then Chesters and Jasmine Hall. 4 lengths to the pool to swim. Madison Emmett looking fantastic now. Not being pushed by anybody. She's got to find the motivation and the timing within. It takes a lot of discipline to maintain the speed. With nobody to measure yourself against. 15:52.4. And Emmett is swimming faster than anybody right now. She is increasing her lead. Sowell in 15:59.8. And Chester's in 16:02 and Hall in 16:04. We'd expect Jasmine Hall at this pace to confirm a medal for herself in the 13-14 category. The bell means there is 2 lengths left. I don't think we're going to see a change in the order, judging by the way everyone is swimming at the moment. I think the 1, 2, 3, 4 will probably stay as they are. Everybody's working out a little bit harder in the final 100. But the gaps between the first 4 are just a little bit too much to close in the time that's left. Madison Emmett first to the final turn, then in 17:04. Emmett's fastest time of the year, 17:51. She will beat that, that's for sure. Charlotte Surrell's best time, 17:52. She will also be beating that time. Peyton Chester, 17:48. May get close to swimming that fast again, but it's Madison Emmett then into the last 10 metres. Emmett, who really took control of this race from the 500-metre point, puts her head down and dives for the wall, 17:39.07. It'll be Charlotte Surrell in 2nd place, followed by Peyton Chesters, and then Jasmine Hall. Great swimming from all 4 of those. Amber Hinton's going to come in 5th place, followed there by Isabel Hall. And they both finished very strongly. Isabel Hall, the final 50 metres in lane 9, 32.9. The quickest swim over the last 50 metres by far. Esme Slynn of Leicester Sharks coming in 7th. Katie Wan in 8th. Tegan Black in 9th. And Catherine Noble in 10th place. Several swims there under 18 minutes. And of course the age categories crucial to remember. Confirmation of the result then. Remember Madison Emmett in 1st place was swimming in the 17-year-old category, just like Charlotte Surrell, who finished 2nd. And here we go, look, the 2 17-year-olds 1st and 2nd. Peyton Chester's 3rd in the 16-year-old category. Jasmine Hall, the fastest so far in the 13s and 14s, with a time of 17:50. On we go to heat 6. Heat 6 then, women's 1500 metres freestyle. And a strong start at the bottom of the screen from Annabelle Compton of Wickham District. And also at the top of the screen from Iris Hurst of Warrington Warriors. So I mentioned that we have 2 13, 14-year-olds left to swim, and they are both at the top of the picture. First over, Iris Hurst. She is in the 13-14 category alongside Darcy Smith, who turned 2nd. Moving down the pool in the red cap for City of Sheffield swim squad is Chloe Cook in the 17-year-old category. Also in the 17-year-old category in the yellow cap is Evangeline Stacey of City of Leeds. Into the yellow lanes then, and Talia Staines of Team Luton. She's in the 18s and over. Kerry Henney in the yellow cap in lane 4, red cap rather, in lane 4, is in the 16 category. Then we come down to lane 3, Sterling Swimming's Susie McNair. She's in the 17-year-olds. 3 lanes from the bottom in the blue cap, Coco Croxford for South Lanarkshire. She's in the 16-year-old category. Katie Sherlock of Mount Kelly in lane 1, white cap. She's in the 18s. And Annabelle Compton in the green for Wickham District. She is in the 16-year-old category. It's the 2 13s and 14s who are leading the way at the moment in lanes 9 and 8. Iris Hurst of Warrington Warriors and Darcy Smith of Portsmouth North Sea. So strong starts from both of those swimmers. And then in third place right now, Kerry Henney from City of Liverpool. Although I think Coco Croxford is probably moving into third place. It'll be very close between Henney and Croxford at the turn. And maybe Evangeline Stacey as well. Who gets the touch there? It is Croxford in lane 2. But nothing really to choose between third, fourth and fifth places. So let me remind you, those 2 swimmers at the top of the screen, Hurst in 9 and Smith in 8, their target is to swim quicker than we had in the previous heat from Jasmine Hall. And if they do that, then they will be looking at gold and silver medals between them. So in many ways, that race at the top of the screen between those 2 swimmers is probably a race for gold and silver in that category. And then elsewhere in the pool, we have those 3 16-year-olds, Henney in lane 4, Croxford in lane 2, and Compton in lane 0. So that's 3 16-year-olds. It's Croxford in lane 2 who turns first. And then in fourth place, Henney in that 16-year-old category. And in fifth place, Compton, also in that 16-year category. And then when we look at the 17-year-olds, they're in lanes 3, 6 and 7. And at the moment, out in front for those 3 17-year-olds is Evangeline Stacey in 5th place, ahead of McNair in 7th and Cook in 8th. So 5th, 7th and 8th, they are all in the 17-year category, but we have plenty of 17-year-old swimmers still to come, so we're probably not looking for those to be battling for medals at this stage, but we certainly are looking for a battle for medals at the top of the picture between Hurst in the yellow cap and Smith in the white cap. And it's Smith at the moment who is winning that particular race, turning there in 5th place as we look at the splits, 4:34.3. And the gap between those 2 swimmers just under 2 seconds at the moment. So just putting aside the 13-14 category for a second, there are 5 swimmers going really well here in this race. Croxford, Henney, Compton, Smith and Stacey. All of them swimming under 5 minutes 10 for the first 450 metres. And at the next turn, we will be at 1/3 distance in this race. We saw in the last heat how reaching 500 metres meant that one swimmer's game plan meant to start kicking really hard. Maybe we'll see something similar to that happen here as we go into the turn. Croxford comfortably in front. And I think the swimmer to keep an eye on right now is up in lane 8, Darcy Smith. She is in 4th place at the moment. Quite probably on course for the 13-14 age group gold medal with this performance. And keeping in contention with Coco Croxford, with Kerry Henney, and with Annabelle Compton. Croxford in front. Henney and Compton closing in, and I think those three may actually now be moving away from the rest. Croxford will turn first, followed by Henney and Compton. But the gap between them is closing, and Henney at the moment is the swimmer to keep an eye on in lane 4 in the yellow lane in the centre of the pool. She really seems to be getting closer to Croxford, so since the 500 metre mark I think it's been Henney's game plan to dig a little deeper. Croxford is maintaining that long stroke, keeping the lead arm out in front as long as possible. And there you go, Henney takes the lead by a slender margin, it has to be said, 3/100ths of a second, but she has moved into first place. And remember, Henney and Croxford are both in the 16-year-old category, so they are competing in the same events, if you like, overall. At the top of the screen, Portsmouth North Sea's Darcy Smith, swimming very strongly and probably on course for the gold medal in the 13-14 category. Henney increases her lead by just over 0.6 of a second over that last 50 metres. Henney from Croxford and then Compton. And it's Stacey and Darcy Smith. And Henney's confidence seems to be growing with every stroke right now. She is in full flow. Over 150 metres, she has opened up a full body length lead. You can't see it on your screens, but I can tell you the gap between them now is 1.5 seconds. That's the gap between Henney in first place and Croxford in second. And if anything, Henney is swimming away now from Croxford. At the top of your screen, Darcy Smith still swimming well in 5th place in that 13-14 category. And judging by the gap, we may be seeing Darcy Smith swimming for gold, but it's possible that Jasmine Hall from the previous heat might be on course for the silver medal, not bronze. We won't really know, it's very early in this race to say for sure how those standings look, but that's the sense you get at the moment. Henney in first, 9:45.73. Croxford in second, 9:47.54. Henney is swimming away from Croxford at the moment. Long way to go. There will be 12 lengths to swim, 600 metres at this turn. And these three have certainly opened an advantage, opened a gap. Henney, Croxford and Compton. And at the moment, Compton is the swimmer to keep an eye on, I would say. Susie McNair in lane 3 in 5th place is also coming through strongly. So on the right of the screen, bottom corner at the moment, Annabelle Compton in 3rd place at this turn, but she is closing the gap between herself, Henny and Croxford. And she's done it again, Compton. She's certainly getting closer to Henny. In fact, both Croxford and Compton are getting closer to Henny now. Maybe Henny used up a little bit too much effort over the last 200 metres. Croxford is getting back into this race. Croxford could turn first here. There won't be much in it. 0.3 of a second. Great turn from Croxford though. Croxford may well be back in front at the next turn. She's in the lead now. Croxford, Henny, Compton. They are followed by McNair and Stacey. And I'll remind you that Darcy Smith is currently in 5th place, but probably swimming her way to a gold medal in that 13-14 category. Smith is the swimmer in the white cap at the top of your screen right now. And you can still see at the top of your screen there on that shot. So Croxford's responded. She slipped into 2nd place. Compton's responded as well. Compton at the bottom of the screen in lane 0. Looks like she might be about to move into 2nd place. There won't be much between these three at the turn. Just over a second between 1st and 3rd. And Compton is swimming faster than the other two right now. And McNair in 4th place is also swimming her way back into this race. So McNair in 4th place is not out of contention yet, with 7 lengths left at this turn. That's 350 metres to go. I would say there are 4 swimmers in this race right now. Susie McNair in lane 3 in the white cap in 4th place is closing on the rest. McNair looking smooth. Now McNair is a 17-year-old. So not competing in the same category as those around her. Once again, McNair is looking the fastest of these 4, the fastest in the pool. It's between Croxford and Compton now, out in front. 2 16-year-olds. Darcy Smith, by the way, in 6th place there. You just caught a glimpse of her time on your screen, 14:09.75. Iris Hurst, 14:28.05 at that last turn. So that's the 13-14 race. I think Darcy Smith probably is going to get gold in the 13-14 category. So we'll concentrate now on how this race is panning out. Croxford and Compton fighting for 1st place. And then Henny and McNair for 3rd. It's Compton who's going to turn first, ahead of Croxford. And then Henny and McNair. This is a great performance in lane 0 from Annabelle Compton. 200 metres to go. And she's looking strong. McNair looking strong as well in lane 3 in the white cap. couldn't rule McNair out of finishing second in this race, the way things are going. Compton over first, 15:40.94, then Croxford and McNair. But McNair, I think, is still swimming quicker than anybody else. There might only be fractions in it. She's looking good. McNair in third place. $100 meters to go at this turn then, and that means the bell. 100 meters, 2 lengths of the pool. McNair, big push underwater, and the dolphin kicks, and then she's going to her legs in lane 3. So McNair is going to dig deep, but nobody's swimming as quick as Annabelle Compton. Now look at Compton in lane 0 at the bottom of the picture. Compton's got the momentum. First and second, remember, both in the 16-year-old category. So Compton goes into the final turn in first place, followed by Croxford. Then it's McNair. McNair, has she got a sprint finish? She's been swimming so fast over the last couple of hundred. Compton looks like she is going to take this heat. And Annabelle Compton's fastest time this season, 17:47.44. She is going to smash that. Coco Croxford's best time, 17:44. This is also an excellent swim for Compton. This is great swimming from all 4 of these swimmers as they come into the wall. Compton in first. I know you don't have the times there, but I can tell you Annabelle Compton's time was 17:25.01. Coco Croxford 17:25.69 in second place. Susie McNair 17:26.75 in third. Kerry Henney in fourth, 17:26.79. Evangeline Stacey 17:38 in fifth place, but Darcy Smith in the white cap at the top of the picture. I think that will be a gold medal performance in the 13-14 category. 17:42.75 for her. Chloe Cook in seventh place with 17:47.71, and Katie Sherlock eighth in 17:56.9. Iris Hurst 18:08.48. There is a time that I'm missing from lane 5, but we'll get that when the results are confirmed, when we get the full graphic for you in a second, so we'll just hang on for that. But when we see that graphic, it will confirm Annabelle Compton in first place, Coco Croxford in second, but also have a look at sixth place, because that will be Darcy Smith. And Darcy Smith is competing in the 13-14 age group category. So sixth place on there, but Darcy Smith, I would think that's a gold medal performance. Annabelle Compton finishing the race in first place in 17:25.01. Really great swimming all across the pool in heat 6 there. We go on to heat 7. Heat 7 of the women's 1500 metres freestyle. And from the top of your screen, it's Lauren Lilly of City of Leeds in lane 9. Amy Kenworthy in lane 8 for Winsford. Then in lane 7, Millie Threlthall, City of Leeds. In lane 6, Sedona Reid of City of Leeds. Into the yellow lanes in the green hat of Wickham Districts, that's Maisie Dickinson, who turned in 4th place. In lane 4, Olivia Kingsland of Nova Centurion. First to turn there was Evie Mackey in lane 3 for South Lanarkshire Swimming. And then into the bottom 3 lanes on your picture there in the blue cap, Georgia Dickey from Dumfries. In lane 1, Harriet Oxley from Repton Swimming. And in lane 0, Evie Hands from Mount Kelly Swimming. So the first to take control of this race is Evie Mackey, and she is swimming in the 15-year-old category. There are 2 15-year-old category swimmers in this race. Millie Threlthall is the other, currently swimming in 6th place. So that's the 15-year-old swimmers. There are more 15-year-old swimmers to come, so we're not expecting either Mackie or Threlfall to swim fast enough to win a medal in this race. Although the way Mackie's going at the moment, we might have to rethink that, but there are so many 15-year-olds to come. We will keep an eye on that. In lane 0, Evie Hands is a 17-year-old swimming in second place right now in this heat. The other 17-year-olds in this heat are in lanes 2, 5 and 6. So in lane 2, 3 from the bottom of your picture in the blue cap, that's Georgia Dickey. And then in lane 5 in the green cap in one of the yellow lanes with the W, that's Maisie Dickinson of Wickham District. And next to her in lane 6 in the yellow cap, turning now in the City of Leeds cap, that's Sedona Reid. So they are the 17-year-olds in this race. Once again, there are plenty of 17-year-olds yet to swim in the remaining heats, so it's unlikely to see a medal performance in this heat. It could happen, but we will keep you posted. And the swimmers who I haven't given you categories for yet are all in the 18s and over. So looking for the top of the screen, 2 lanes down, Amy Kenworthy of Winsford swimming in lane 4. In the middle of the pool in the black cap in one of the yellow lanes, that's Livia Kingsland of Nova Centurion. And 2 lanes from the bottom, Harriet Oxley of Repton swimming. So those are the 18 and over swimmers in this heat. So we're not expecting medal performances in this particular race. But what we are looking for is fantastic swimming, PBs, high-end performance, and fantastic competition. That is what we're here for at the Aquatics GB Summer Championships. Evie Mackey still out in front. 33.23.93. Mackey swimming 50 metres in under 35 seconds at the moment. That's her general pace. And I would say she is, if anything, extending her advantage over the rest of the fields. Mackey turning first then, 3:58.83. Amy Kenworthy towards the top of the screen, 2 lanes from the top. She's swimming quicker than anybody at the moment coming into this race after the first 350 metres. She is finding her rhythm. But there's one outstanding performance above everyone at the moment from Evie Mackey. Turning in 4:33.68, getting a couple of dolphin kicks in underwater before she pops up to the surface. Mackey leading from Livia Kingsland, and then in third place at the moment it looks like Sedona Reid. No, I think Amy Kenworthy has just surged through into third place. We'll see at the turn. It's Mackey, followed by Kingsland, and yes, it is Kenworthy. So keep an eye on her, 2 lanes from the top, because she is digging in at the moment, Amy Kenworthy. Mackey plunging that, certainly that left arm forward in every stroke, and really stretching out from fingertip to toes. And look at that deep turn off the wall, 4 dolphin kicks over the course of 1,500 metres. It makes a big difference. Having said that, Livia Kingsland is certainly closing the advantage. Kingsland going very well right now. Kingsland and Kenworthy getting closer and closer to Mackey. That's 550 metres swum. And the gap between Mackie and Kingsland is almost nothing. I think Kingsland is now in the lead. So over that last 50 metres, and as we see so often, we get to 500 metres and swimmers switch to a different game plan. I think that's exactly what's happened there with Kingsland. She swam herself into the race for 500 metres and now she's ready to compete for the lead. 600 metres swum then. Kingsland, Kenworthy, Mackie. They go over in that order, followed by Threlfall, Reed, Lilly, Oxley, Hands, Dickinson and Dickey. These swimmers regularly swimming 50 metres in 35 seconds or so. That's their regular lap time, so it's quicker than the previous heats. It's worth remembering that there is progress with each heat. Things get faster. Kingsland, then Kenworthy, Mackie and Threlfall. Harriet Oxley in lane 1. Right on the edge of your screen there, on the right of your screen, bottom of your screen. Harriet Oxley is starting to make a move. She is swimming quicker. She's accelerating now. (8:03.93) for Kingsland at the turn. And she's moving away from the rest. Oxley in lane 1 slightly slower on that last 50. I just want to keep an eye on Oxley because she is keeping pace with everybody else. She might be in 7th place at the moment, but she's swimming as quickly as those at the front. Over we go with Kingsland out in front. That's the halfway point, 750 metres swum. Kingsland and Kenworthy almost matching each other stroke for stroke at the moment. The gap between those two looking pretty steady. Kingsland over in 9:14.04. Kenworthy 0.84 behind. And right now, Kingsland is increasing her lead, even if it is only by a fraction. It's Kingsland from Kenworthy. Then Threlfall and Mackie. That's the order into the turn. 9:48.93. Just over a second advantage for Kingsland at the moment. And I would say everybody in this race has settled into their rhythm, settled into their stroke rates. We're not seeing many changes of pace right now, but we might in the next couple of 100 metres. That is 900 swum. 1¼ seconds between Kingsland and Kenworthy. Kingsland stretching out with every stroke. The lead hand just staying out in front for that extra beats. And the gap, 1.8 seconds now. Kingsland is moving away from the rest of the field. And at the next turn we will be at 2/3 distance. in this 1500 metres freestyle. Coming up then to the 1000 metre turn. Livia Kingsland of Nova Centurion over first. Then it's Amy Kenworthy of Winsford, Millie Threlfall, City of Leeds, Evie Mackey, South Lanarkshire. They're the first four. In fifth place at that turn was Lauren Lilly, then Sedona Reid, City of Leeds, Harriet Oxley, Repton Swimming, Maisie Dickinson in 8th place, Georgia Dickey in 9th and Evie Hands in 10th. Nine lengths to go. Kingsland's lead now over 2 seconds from Kenworthy. But can Threlfall start reeling in Kenworthy now? That's going to be interesting to see. Threlfall in the yellow cap in 3rd place at the moment from City of Leeds is looking like she might close in on Amy Kenworthy. At the moment, there's no threat to Livia Kingsland. 12:44.4. Once again, her lead is extended. And Threlfall's taken another few hundredths of Kenworthy. It takes a long time in these 1500 metre races to see the effects, but sometimes you just see the signs. And I think we might be seeing that in that race for 2nd and 3rd right now. And coming into this turn, there won't be much in it. Threlfall really surging on that last stroke as she went into the last 5 metres under the flags. And 7/100ths of a second between them now. So I think Threlfall is going to move up into 2nd place. That's at the top of the screen. Kenworthy going to her feet to try and hang in there. She's kicking harder. And I just reiterate that there's no threat at the moment to Livia Kingsland's lead. Over 2 seconds at the last turn. Turning there in 13:55.1. And 2 3/4 seconds now is the difference. .300 metres to swim. Well, 2:75 now. Halfway along this 50 metres. Livia Kingsland looks good to win this heat. Even with 5 lengths to go. Millie Threlfall is the only possible threat, but I think Threlfall and Kingsland are pretty much swimming at the same pace at the moment. There's no real change in the gap between them. Can't really see in the next 200 metres things changing an awful lot. And I think Kingsland actually is starting to dig a little deeper to hold off the challenge. 15:05.5, almost a 3-second lead. That's going to be too much for Threlfall to overhaul. Kingsland, let me remind you, swimming in the 18s and over category. Threlfall's in the 15s category. Kenworthy in 3rd place at the moment, also in the 18s and over. Livia Kingsland into the turn with 150 metres to swim. 3-second gap maintained. And once we get to that final turn, everybody starts to swim that little bit quicker. We're swimming into the bell now for Livia Kingsland. And I think we are going to see these 3 swimmers finish in this order. Kingsland in the 18s and over. turning first with 100 metres to go. Threlfall in the 15-year category in second place. Kenworthy in the 18 and over category as well in third. Kingsland pushing hard. A little bit more spray, a little bit more white water as everybody puts that extra effort in the last 100 metres. Interestingly, Threlfall's stroke seems pretty smooth. She's not splashing around too much. She's keeping her form pretty well. Kingsland hits the final turn in 16:51. Threlfall might close the gap slightly over this final 50. We will see. Livia Kingsland's best time this year, 17:31.1. It's going to be close, but she will probably swim faster than that. 17:31 for a season's best. Yes, she's going to do that. So, Livia Kingsland in first place, 17:26.06, followed by Millie Threlfall, 17:28.6, and Amy Kenworthy in 17:30.3. All three of those swimmers, season's best, great performances from all of them. Evie Mackey, Lauren Lilly, Harriet Oxley, Sedona Reid. Maisie Dickinson coming in 8th, then Georgia Dickey. And it will be Evie Hands next to touch. Under 18 minutes for Evie Hands. Good swimming all around once again. And I'll remind you that Livia Kingsland finished first in that one, followed by Millie Threlfall and Amy Kenworthy. Here come the results confirmed. Livia Kingsland in the 18s and over category, Millie Threlfall in the 15-year category, both swimming under 17 minutes 30. On we go to heat 8. So this is the penultimate heat in the women's 1500 metres freestyle. From the top of your screen, Alice Forrest, Northumberland and Durham Performance. In lane 8, Madison Wrens, City of Liverpool. In lane 7, Kate Cotter, Chelmsford City. In lane 6, Evangeline Belt, Plymouth Leander. Then into the yellow lanes. In the white cap, and looking like she will turn first, Grace Cummings, swimming for Thanet Swim Club. In lane 4, Lucy Parsons, City of Liverpool. And then into the blue lanes again. In the red cap there, Molly Baker, City of Sheffield Swim Squad. Emily Johnson in lane 2, Millfield. And then the last two lanes in the white cap there, Ruby Griffiths, Mount Kelly Swimming. And at the bottom of your picture in the dark cap, Eleanor Kay, Bolton Metro. Coming into the 100 metre turn, and it's Wrens in lane 8, leading from Cummings. Cummings and Forrest actually turning in the same time there. There was only 100th of a second between the first three at the turn after 100 metres. So in this race we've got 3 categories. Alice Forrest at the top of the screen is in the 15-year-old category. Now there are 2 15-year-old swimmers still to come. So Alice is likely swimming for a medal here at the top of your screen in the dark cap for Northumberland and Durham Performance. So keep an eye on her. She's at the top of the screen. We also have 17-year-old swimmers, so they are in the next 2 lanes, 8 and 7. Madison Wrens and Kate Cotter. And then further down the pool in lanes 4 and 3, Lucy Parsons and Molly Baker. They are in the 17-year-old category. And everybody else is in the 18s and over. And if you've been with us all through the session and all through the day, you know that we will start to break those situations down as the race progresses. But I think it's worth remembering that at the top of your screen, Alice Forrest, the 15-year-old, is competing for a likely medal here. And she's also keeping in contact with the two 17-year-old category swimmers either alongside her, and Madison Rins and Kate Cotter in these early stages of this heat. First to the turn at 250 metres, Molly Baker. And at the moment, our fastest swimmers in this heat are swimming under 34 seconds per 50 metres. So 67.5, something like that for every 100. And that makes them the fastest swimmers we've seen so far. And as I like to say, it's worth remembering it means that all of those swimmers in your picture are swimming at around the same pace of the lead swimmers in the previous heat. So if they'd been swimming in the previous heat, we'd have been commentating on them as potential race winners. So all of these 9 swimmers in the picture are in that category. As the race starts to spread out and settle down, and we start to build a picture of who is going to compete for which positions. Molly Baker over first, 3:53.3. Then it's Lucy Parsons, 2 seconds behind. Interestingly, Parsons in lane 4 seems to be just closing that gap between herself and Baker at the moment. So those two have settled into a similar rhythm. And then in lane 5 in the white cap in 3rd place at the moment, we have Grace Cummings. Baker and Parsons, the first two over, they're both in the 17-year category. Both 17-year-olds. A long held glide at the head of each stroke from Baker at the moment. And that's 450 metres swum. Baker leading Parsons, then Cummings, Cotter, Rens, Forrest, Belt, Johnson, Griffiths and Eleanor Kay about to turn. So this will be 1/3 distance swum, 500 metres. And the point where we might see a change of tactics from somebody. Certainly Lucy Parsons has closed the gap a little there on Molly Baker over the last 50, so maybe Parsons is going to come into contention here. Perhaps she might move away from Grace Cummings. And remember, at the top of your screen there in the black cap furthest from us, that's Alice Forrest in the 15-year-old category, most likely swimming for a medal with only 2 more 15-year-olds to come in the final heat. Alice Forrest turning there in 6:18.09. In 6th place in this heat, yes, but looking to be the fastest 15-year-old so far in the competition. So she's going well over there in lane 9. And we'll move our attention back to the front of the heat, and look, that gap has closed. Lucy Parsons looks like she might be ready to overtake Molly Baker here. She turns first. And Baker was 7/10 slower than Parsons over the last 50. So that 500 metre mark was the signal for Parsons to accelerate, move into a different rhythm. And Molly Baker is responding. She's got a longer stroke, a lower stroke rate, but she's using Parsons to measure herself against. It won't be quite so easy to do that while she's breathing to her left, breathing away from Parsons. And I'll remind you that Forrest, as you can see there, turning in 6th place in 7:28.11, the 15-year-old swimmer. Most likely swimming for a medal. Probably the only swimmer in this particular heat who may win a medal in this event today. Parsons turns first again, and the gap now 0.45 seconds. 3rd, 4th and 5th separated by less than 2 tenths. And it's interesting to see how Molly Baker has responded. Certainly when she's breathing, when they're swimming in this direction and Baker's breathing to her left, you can just tell that Baker is using that opportunity to watch Parsons and feed off her. They swam almost identical times. The gap between them over that last 50 was almost nothing. Baker now is choosing to breathe to face Parsons all the way through. And Parsons is always breathing to her right, so she's not watching Baker when she's swimming in this direction. They'll come face to face, if you like, on this 50 metres, but they won't be face to face when they're this far apart. That last 50 really did see Parsons move away. And Parsons is looking good. You can tell by that glide on every stroke. You can see Forrest at the top of his screen there in the black cap, swimming for that medal in the 15-year-old category. Parsons over first, 9:36.4, and the gap is increasing. Nearly 4 seconds between them. Parsons is by far the quickest swimmer in the pool right now. Madison Wren's in lane 8 in the red cap near the top of your screen is also swimming pretty well at the moment. She's not kicking very hard, Wren's, but she's definitely in contention and moving back into this race. Keep an eye on the gap between 2nd and 3rd because it's closing. Wren's has got away from Cummings and Cotter. Forrest turns now in 10:23.76. We're looking at this battle then between 2nd and 3rd at the moment. That's Baker and Wren's. And then out in front comfortably right now, Lucy Parsons. 10:44.45. What's the gap now between these two? Nearly 7 seconds. And look at the gap between Baker and Wren's, 4 tenths now. Wren's is going to move into 2nd place as we get to the 1,000 metre points. And again, 1,000 metres might mean a change in tactics, a change in style for somebody in there. Wren's, I think, is going to turn just ahead of Baker. Yes, she does. So Wren's up into 2nd place for the first time in this heat. Now, Wren's, Parsons and Baker, the first 3 are all in the 17-year category. And, well, the way things are going, we might be looking at medal performances in the 17-year category. We might have to start thinking about that a little more. This could be a potential gold medal performance from Lucy Parsons, the way things are going. We're going to have to seriously consider that, because she really is accelerating away. And I think we have to consider that Wren's could also be come into contention for a medal, and maybe Molly Baker as well. Parsons then with a comfortable lead, with 400 to go. And Wren's looking good for second place in this heat. Forrest in 6th place, remember, fighting for a medal in the 15-year-old category, 12:44.15. We try our best to show you her swim as well. But I'm sure you can appreciate we can't see everybody when the field is as strung out as this. Parsons out there, you can see Forrest now at the top of your screen. She isn't too far behind the leaders. Well, let's start thinking about Parsons setting a target for a possible gold medal. This does look like a medal-winning performance now for Lucy Parsons. Her swim since the 500-metre mark has been so impressive. 300 metres to go. Parsons from Wren's and then Baker. 3 17-year-old competitors. Lucy Parsons, can she set a target for Emilia John in the final heats? (14:10.1) with 250 to go, and she looks like she's swimming faster than ever. Madison Wren's is actually swimming pretty quickly as well. Both Wren's and Parsons are swimming 68.5 per 100 at the moment, something like that. And they are the fastest two in the pool at the moment. 200 metres left. Parsons may even be going slightly quicker now than 68.5 per 100. Wren's 68.5, 68.7, something like that for 100 metres. Parsons is accelerating away, and you can see it. She's looking so strong, giving her all and looking powerful. I'm sure she feels like she's struggling. I'm sure it's hard work, but from here she looks smooth. She looks streamlined. Wren's could be competing here for a medal as well in the 17-year-old category. So she's up in the top corner of your screen there, just losing her for a second. But Parsons, this could well be a silver or gold medal winning performance. 100 metres to go. Here comes the bell. 15:52.4. And that bell makes everybody swim a little bit quicker. Parsons is swimming away though, the gap between her and Wren's is increasing. Parsons is probably going to win a medal. We don't know if this is good enough for silver or gold yet, but it looks likely. This could be a gold medal performance. Very, very impressive. Final turn, 16:26.5. Wren's could well be swimming for a medal too. This could be a bronze medal performance from her. We'll follow Parsons into the finish. 17:19 was her best swim of the season. She's going to comfortably beat that. Could she get under 17 minutes? It's going to be close. She may get under 17 minutes here. Head down, she does. 16:58.84. Well, that's going to be gold or silver. And then Madison Wren, 17:08. That's a possible silver or bronze in the 17s category. And Molly Baker will have to wait and see. 17:17. That That might yet be good enough for a medal as well. Alice Forrest, 17:24.00. And that may well also be good enough for a medal. So great swims all around. Grace Cummings 17:18, Kate Cotter 17:21, Forrest we've mentioned, Evangeline Belt 17:28, Emily Johnson 17:36, Ruby Griffiths 17:51, and Eleanor Kay under 18 minutes here, 17:58. So great times recorded. Lucy Parsons with 16:58.84 in the 17 years category. That is gold or silver. Madison Wren, silver or bronze probably. Molly Baker might even be a bronze medal performance there. And Alice Forrest probably competing for a medal in the 15-year-old category. We have two 15-year-olds to come in the next heat. But that is heat 8 all wrapped up. And this is the final heat, heat 9. So the final heat, the fastest heat. That's what we would expect. Certainly these swimmers are the quickest this season. We are looking then from the top to bottom in the lane order. Jessica Arundale at the top of your picture for Barnet Copthall in lane 9. Then in lane 8, it's Ava Cook, City of Sheffield swim squad. Lane 7, Amelia John, City of Cardiff. Lane 6, Lucy Fox, Wickham districts. Into the yellow lanes, the golden lanes, shall we say. In lane 5, Holly Wilson, City of Leeds. Lane 4, Amelie Bloxage, and we could see something special from her today. And then back into the blue lanes, we have in lane 3, Abby Roscoe, Wirral Metro. Lane 2, Phoebe Arbuckle, Warren de Baths. In lane 1, Emily Forward, Swansea University. And in lane 0, Emma Price from Northumberland and Durham Performance. And it has to be said, these 10 swimmers, the fastest qualifiers for this event, the outstanding swimmers for 2024 in the women's 1500 metres freestyle. They've all done incredibly well. They've all performed incredibly well to be in this, the fastest heat. And we will see what kind of performances we get from these swimmers. They are all capable of swimming around 17 minutes. We will have some swimmers, without doubt, getting comfortably under 17 minutes. So coming up to the 200 metre mark, and Amelie Bloxage will be first to the turn for City of Salford. And Bloxage is 15-year-old category swimmer. Bloxage is competing in that 15-year-old category with Abby Roscoe, who's currently in 3rd place. So those two are likely to be swimming for gold and silver in that category. In the 16-year-old category, Holly Wilson in lane 5 is likely swimming for the gold medal. She'll have competition from Phoebe Arbuckle in lane 2. And Arbuckle at the moment is ahead in that particular competition. But the first 500 metres are one kind of race, and then the second 1,000 is a different kind of race. So let's get to 500 metres and we'll start then to think about the categories and who are the medal contenders in each of them. We will probably have gold medalists in this race in the 15-year-old category, the 16-year-old category, the 17-year-old category, and the 18s and over. So we're most likely looking at 4 gold medal performances in this particular race. Amelie Bloxage out in front, Holly Wilson in second place. In third at the moment is possibly Phoebe Arbuckle or Abby Roscoe. Arbuckle, I think, but we'll tell at the turn. Only just by 1/10 of a second it is Arbuckle. And then Fox, that's Lucy Fox in lane 6. And in 6th place at that turn was Ava Cook, 7th Amelia John, 8th Emma Price, 9th Emily Forward, and 10th Jessica Arundale. And it's worth remembering Jessica Arundale at the top of the picture is still swimming about as quickly as we saw in the lead in the previous heat. So a very visual difference in the speed between the last heat and this. Those last 2 swimmers are swimming about as quickly as the lead swimmers in the previous heat. So that gives you a real impression of how much faster this final heat is. Amelie Bloxage coming into the turn in a comfortable lead. And she is swimming 100 metres in roughly 66 seconds at the moment. So remember, in the last heat we were swimming at around 68 seconds. So Bloxage will be taking 2 seconds off the field in the previous heat on every 100, if we think back to that previous heat. Bloxage coming into the turn at 500 metres. And she's maintaining that pace. 66 seconds for each 100. And the rest of the field not far behind. Holly Wilson is almost on that pace. The gap between Bloxage and Wilson really isn't changing at the moment, so they're swimming at the same speed. Phoebe Arbuckle going well too. And we're into 550 metres swum and looking at how tactics might change now. So Bloxage in the lead, and she is swimming in the 15-year category, and she's competing with Abby Roscoe in lane 3, so 1 lane below. As we look here, Bloxage is her nearest rival, and the way things are going, I think they are going to be gold and silver medalists in the 15-year category. Then we have to think about Holly Wilson turning now. She's in the 16-year category, and Wilson's nearest contender is in 3rd place at the moment, Phoebe Arbuckle. So that's another race between those two in the 16-year category. Currently in 7th place, Amelia John, swimming in lane 7, and she looks like she's swimming fast enough for a gold medal in the 17-year category. And then Lucy Fox of Wickham Districts in lane 6 coming into turn just now. She may well be the 18s and over gold medalist. So if you can get your head around that, then we might have a gold medal swimmer at the moment in Amelia Bloxage in lane 4. Another gold medal swimmer possibly in lane 2, Phoebe Arbuckle. That's as things stand. Another in lane 7, Amelia John. And a further gold medal performance possibly in lane 6 for Lucy Fox. And it goes without saying, silver medals as well being won across this pool, and possibly bronze as well. So hopefully you've managed to understand how it works, and you can appreciate that both Holly Wilson and Amelie Bloxage coming into turn now at the halfway point, both of these swimmers out in front are probably going to win gold medals for this swim. Bloksic then turning at the halfway point in 8:13.2. Wilson in 8:17.4. Bloksic had a best time this year of 16:13. Seems quite incredible. That's how she's listed. She would have to negative split this 1500 metres to do that. And Wilson's best time, 16:47 this season. So we're keeping an eye on Holly Wilson. Can she get under 16:47? That would be a really good performance for her. Well, I think we're seeing some great swims here. It's not just the two out in front. We are seeing right across the pool here swimmers who are raising their performance. Bloksic 9:19.9 at the 8:50 turn. Her personal best 16:10. Amani Bloksic. If we see something like that, it'll be an unbelievable final 600 metres. Holly Wilson turning in second place. Then it's Roscoe and Arbuckle. Out of our screen, Fox and Cook. Bloksic still maintaining her pace, 66 seconds per 100. She's probably down to 66.5, judging by that time, 10:26.32. And Holly Wilson is swimming roughly the same pace. Abby Roscoe is back to about 68 seconds per 100. Well, that certainly looks good enough for Roscoe to be swimming for silver medal behind Bloksic in the 15-year category. Bloksic under 11 minutes for the 1,000 metres. Wilson just a shade slower, 11:05. Both just swimming their own race now, these two. No real markers to use. Very difficult to get a reference point as to how well they are swimming. You might get a slight idea when they pass. You just get an idea as when you're in the pool, if you pass at the flags or before the flags or after the flags, whether the gap is opening up. And the gap is opening up slightly, as we can tell by the split times. Nearly 6 seconds between them. Amani Bloksic looking fantastic. She can swim faster than this, but she is swimming her way to a gold medal. Holly Wilson will be swimming for a gold medal as well. Abby Roscoe looks on course for that silver behind Bloksic. And Arbuckle too looks on course for a silver behind Wilson. We're also keeping an eye in lane 7 on Emilia John. She might find it difficult at this stage to swim fast enough for a gold medal in the 17-year category, to be honest. We'll see how things pan out. Bloksic into the turn then at 1,200 metres. 300 left, that's 6 lengths of the pool. Both of these leading swimmers, Bloksic and Wilson, starting to slow down a little. They're still by far the quickest we've seen, by far and away. But in terms of their own standards in this race, things just slowing up a little. It might be different if they were side by side, head to head, pushing each other along, but they've only got their own internal inspiration to rely on. And Bloksic is still moving away. She's swimming, what, about 67 seconds now for each 100, Bloksic. So if you think earlier it was 66 seconds, you can tell it's not a huge drop-off, but it is a slight drop-off. And she would be aiming for consistent swims all the way through. Bloksic in 14:20.1. Wilson almost 8 seconds behind. And only 3.5 lengths of the pool left to swim for Bloksic and Wilson. Bloksic coming in with 3 lengths remaining to turn. 14:53 for Bloksic. And Wilson looking tired at that turn. 15:01. Looking tired, yes, but I'm comparing her with her own performance. She is looking like the fastest 16-year-old, the outstanding 16-year-old in this competition. Coming in to take the bell then, with 100 metres to go. Amelie Bloksic over first. Then Holly Wilson. Both of these swimmers are going to take gold medals on day one of the Aquatics GB Summer Championships. Bloksic in the 15-year-old category. Coming into the final turn then. Still swimming quicker than anyone we've seen in this event, even if she's slowing up a little. And the same goes for Wilson, who will turn in second place here. 2 gold medal performances from them. Bloksic coming home then in the 15-year-old category into the last 25. 16:10, her personal best. We're not going to see that, but I tell you what, the last 800 metres, last 750 from Bloksic, very, very impressive. 16:34, her final time. And Holly Wilson, 16:40, that's a 7-second PB for Holly Wilson. Brilliant swimming from her. Coming in next, Abby Roscoe. Her previous best 16:50, just 2 seconds outside of that. Then we have Phoebe Arbuckle. That's a first swim under 17 minutes for her. Ava Cook, a PB by 8 seconds for Ava Cook. Lucy Fox, a little down on her best, but still good, 17:05. Emilia John, not sure if this will be quick enough for the gold medal in the 17-year category. We'll have to wait for the final results and the presentations. Emma Price coming in there in 17:24. And Emily Forward 17:31. And Jessica Arundel 17:36. Even swimmers who were outside their PBs, they didn't miss them by an enormous amount. But great swims there, really great swims. The second 750 metres from our winner of the heat, Amelie Bloksic, fantastic. That's a gold medal. Holly Wilson will have a gold medal in the 16-year category. Lucy Fox, possibly in the 18s. You have to get the final results for that. And Emilia John will also have to wait and see. But brilliant, brilliant swimming. Once again, 4 swimmers under 17 minutes in that heat, the final heat of the women's 1500 metres freestyle. So stay tuned, we'll have the presentations of all of the individual age groups in a moment, and that will confirm how everybody finished in their individual categories. The medal ceremonies will be coming up in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
It's time for the medal ceremony for the women's 1500 meters freestyle 13-14 years age group. The medals will be presented by Jane Forehun, experienced aquatics GB field of play volunteer. Bronze medalist, representing the city of Coventry, Mia Hawkins. Silver medalist, representing Basildon and Phoenix, Jasmine Hall. Gold medalist and British Summer Champion, representing Portsmouth North Sea, Darcy Smith. Please put your hands together for your medalists. The medal ceremony for the women's 1500 meters freestyle, 15 years. Bronze medalist, representing Northumberland and Durham Performance, Alice Forrest. Silver medalist, representing Wirral Metro, Abby Roscoe. Gold medalist and British Summer Champion, representing the City of Salford, Amelie Bloxage. Please put your hands together for your medalists. The medal ceremony for the women's 1500 meters freestyle, 16 years age group. Bronze medalist, representing the City of Sheffield, Ava Cook. Silver medalist, representing Warren de Bath, Phoebe Arbuckle. Gold medalist and British Summer Champion, representing the City of Leeds, Holly Wilson. Please put your hands together for your medalists. The medal ceremony for the women's 1500 meters freestyle, 17 years. Bronze medalist, representing the City of Sheffield, Molly Baker. Silver medalist, representing the City of Liverpool, Madison Rents. Gold medalist and British Summer Champion, representing the City of Liverpool, Lucy Parsons. Please put your hands together for your medalists. The medal ceremony for the women's 1500 meters freestyle, 18 years and over. Bronze medalist, representing Nova Centurion, Livia Kingsland. Silver medalist, representing Thanet Swim, Grace Cummings. Gold medalist and British Summer Champion, representing Wickham District, Lucy Fox. Please put your hands together for your medalists.
Well, thanks very much for joining us. That's the end of competition on day one of these Aquatics GB Summer Championships. We'll be back tomorrow with the third session. We hope you can join us then. See you then. Bye.